Global happenings today. We communicate. We analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello beautiful people, welcome back to our channel. Apparently governance has started in earnest. Remember, just a few hours ago Fubara did tell everyone willing to listen in a nation or a statewide broadcast you could stay nationwide, because most Nigerians who are also living outside the shores of Nigeria were able to watch it as well. And he made mention of going forward people he needed to tell. For full details on that, please check our playlist. But meanwhile, it looks as if already things are about to take a different turn. Remember at the very beginning, if you check our playlist, you also see where he made a pledge to Rivers people that he would continue and he would not leave anyone behind. And that was quite certain, because a whole lot of his supporters wanted to know where would they be in the scheme of affairs, judging the fact that a lot of things were signed behind their knowledge. Well, apparently they have started in earnest. I do not know if this is part of the deal, but we're going to find out what they are demanding Fubara, the people of Rivers, the chieftain of APC, and most well-meaning Nigerians to do to ease his governance. Don't forget that Ibogete Ibas was actually sitting in for the last 6 months, and this is what they're really telling him now. A chieftain of the All Progressive Congress, an APC chieftain, that's Eze Chukwemeka Eze, has advised Governor Siminalayi Fubara of Rivers State to immediately dismiss all appointees installed during the tenure of the former sole administrator Ibogete Ibas. Now, Eze, who previously served as the National Publicity Secretary of the defunct New People's Democratic Party, NPDP, made the call following Fubara's return to the Rivers State Government House on Friday after completing a 6-month suspension ordered by President Bola Tinubu. Now, during the governor's absence, Ibas oversaw the affairs of the state and made a number of appointments. Eze argued that such appointments should not be recognized. I expect the governor to sack all the appointees of the illegal sole administrator and ensure that nobody imposes anybody on him as his commissioner or aide, even as Nyesom Wike had promised not to act in such a devilish art of imposing anybody on him, he said. Of course, Fubara's resumed office. Now, APC chieftain further called for reconciliation within the state assembly. For peace to reign, all members of the State Assembly that either resigned or worked with Sim Fubara must be reabsorbed by the State Assembly. He added that he also urged the President Tinubu to guarantee Fubara's security and political stability, warning against attempts to undermine him through impeachment. Now, the governor must be assured that he is not set up for further embarrassment by the phony members of the State Assembly through any impeachment move, he said. He added that if such assurances were not forthcoming, Governor Fubara should exercise the full powers of his office as the elected leader of Rivers State. Now, a lot of Nigerians have been doing a lot of permutation and reaction, because right now this is not the best time for Fubara to throw any of his strong allies and supporters under the bus, because Nigerians are also worried that I hope that this time around the peace part will be followed through. Don't also forget that if you check our playlist, you also got to see where the Rivers State Assembly members, especially from the Speaker, promised to fully adhere to the peace palace signed between them and Fubara. And for them, Fubara, Wike, and the President. They also went further to explain that they're even waiting for Fubara to bring the appropriation bill, depending on what is remaining for the year, and also talked about the issue of commissioners. The list, they should bring them quickly so they can screen and let governance begin in earnest. But then again, people are worried, because there are these guys who were standing in for Fubara for 3 months, for 3 of them. Okojombo stood in as the fashioner speaker. But even as when they were having their appropriation bill and their first plenary after resumption since the 6 months suspension, Okojombo was nowhere close to the assembly hall. In fact, he was on the street of Rivers State dancing and jubilating and making merry that his governor is coming. And of course, Edison Ehi, who also was a member of that assembly, but later resigned and became chief of staff, was with Fubara. And Fubara needs to bring us nominees. Is it that Kojumbo will be there? My colleague is in the house. A lot of permutations. Many Nigerians are worried that maybe if Fubara is to make any other funny move as to give Rivers what they truly deserve, they may likely want to impeach him. Do you agree with Eze on this?
Well, it's going to be a little bit difficult, and I would say that right now no one should really trust the words of Fubara. And the reason being that he says he's going to work with everybody and all of that. But I think that seeing the massive welcome, seeing riverians come out and expectations of riverians, it's sure that he will say such a thing, But it's a matter of time. When the time of practicality comes, that's when we'll get to know what it will look like. Because as at that time, you get to see different things being rolled out. Unfortunately, nobody will have to force him, because we know already that for wike, we know who wike is. For him to accept, peace, it must be in his favor.
Are you saying that it's even now more trustworthy to believe in wike in the issue of Rivers State governance than Fubara?
Not really. What I mean is for wike to accept peace, wike, whenever there's a game, the game will only end when wike wins in politics. And we know that his win is not something like 3-2 win. Football, Galatasaray 3, Man U 2. That's not it. When you talk about winning, it must be like 7-0. That's when wike is okay. The game should end now. So we know that everything was completely in his favor. So right now, we are going to start seeing it play out via the appointment. For these guys to resume immediately, and they are making demands. Because if they don't make demands, this is the thing. If they don't make demands for, commissioners to be done, monies will not be allocated. Because right now, as the money is coming in from FAC, Ministry of Finance, take your own. This one, take your own. This one, take your own. And all of those guys must be, for wike's men, so that from there, they know what to do. So right now, let's tell ourselves the truth. It's truly in favor of wike. That's why everything is going well.
One last question. Do you think that it is wise for Fubara to sack the nominees that Ibas nominated during his time, commissioner nominees and all that were already stated in his term for 6 months? And if he's to sack them, don't you think they will seek redress in court, that they just barely entered and Fubara is coming in to sack them, and they were duly nominated by the person who was imposed upon Rivers State?
There was no due nomination by it was an emergency nomination. That was what actually happened. Because if you are nominated to function in any capacity in a democratic setting, you must undergo screening in the House of Assembly. So none of them went to screening in the House of Assembly. So right now, as this guy is coming on board, he's going to sign, and all of them wait for emergency rule. That's why you see them, they were craving for severance to be paid to them. All of them were on emergency rule. And I tell you the truth, there's a fresh list coming in, and we know such fresh list will come from wike. And that's how it's going to play out at the end of the day.
Including research chairman and other chairman and all that. They all were removed.
All of them will be trashed. Just give it a matter of time. The only reason why they will pretend as if the research chairman will still be there is because there's no election forthcoming. But we know so well that all of that is going to be trashed with time.
All right, that's we're going to wrap it.